Mtoto huyo
Wow, confirm to me the sound. Yes, I'm back to do this again. I had some technical hitch with the sound. It wasn't good though, so I have to take it again. It wasn't good though. It is important. It is important. It is important. Guys, welcome to Enoch The Bright TV. I have a very important message to pass across. Very, very important message to pass across. And this is raising an awareness to our people regarding what is happening today around the world. As you can see on the description of this stream, is regarding the luring or the recruitment of people which is ongoing in the country, and then they find themselves in doing some military work somewhere. And I want us to share this video because you might help somebody outside there. I've taken this time to do this because we want to help someone somewhere. We have to help someone somewhere. Maybe this is going to be the only savior to this person. I know that this information might surprise somebody, might shock someone, but it's a verified information. It is a verified information that we all ought to, we all ought to understand or try to pass to others, and be keen when taking some when taking or trying to get some jobs outside there. It is verified and reputable report and official, so from the official sources, and about Africans being lured into military service abroad, particularly into the Russia-Ukraine conflict situation. And Kenyan government has verified this. They have confirmed this, and it is important. Yeah, Bishop Seth Obola, I can see you. Thank you very much for watching. It is important what is happening based on multiple news investigations. Before I start this streaming, I just have to tell you that I verified this information. So it is a verified information. It is true and it is correct information. There are documented cases of Africans being lured abroad with false promises and ending up in military roles. They are lured and told that, okay, come on, and you're gonna be given a civilian job. You are going to work as a chef, as a doctor, as a teacher, or as a gardener, or as a house help. But when you get there, things go differently. And how are these guys lured? People are desperate and need jobs. That is one thing that I have to accept, that people need jobs. Not only from Kenya, but around the world. Guys are really suffering, traveling outside there to look for green pasture And that it makes sense, and that is common sense. People must try to get jobs, but there is something that is happening, that they find themselves in wrong places, more so in the conflicted situation areas like Ukraine and Russia. Again, investigations describe men from Kenya who went to Russia expecting civilian jobs. Yeah, investigations is being done, and there are Kenyan men in Russia who went to Russia expecting civilian jobs and were coerced or tricked into signing contracts and sent toward the front lines in Ukraine. And how does this happen? Remember, when you are in Kenya, you sign a different contract with the language you understand. But once you get to Russia, you sign another contract with the language that you actually don't understand. So yours is just to sign the contract, and that is it. And once you sign that contract, the language that you don't understand, you are taken to a military training. You are being trained as military for 1 week. That is what they say. It is a 1 week training, then sent to the front line, a war zone in Ukraine. So you find majority of those who are actually fighting for Russia are not Russian. Majority are just guys who went there for work, to do civilian work, then find themselves doing the opposite. So these are raising questions, and hence I'm just doing this as awareness so that you may know, because we have kids, we have children, we have people around us, we have family members who actually dreaming of going outside there to work. They might find themselves in this place of signing such kind of contracts. Now, and that is happening. Ukraine's government said that at least 1,400 Africans, this is a report from Ukraine, at least 1,400 Africans from 36 countries have been identified fighting for Russia. 1,400. This might be your brother, your sister, your kid, and others. And once they get there, phones are being confiscated, no means of communication, nor anything. They are now military. They get to war. They get to fight for Russia. And now that is a report from Al Jazeera. That report is from Al Jazeera. They get recruited via deceptive offers. They are given deceptive offers. So Africa Focused reporting explains that recruiters are targeting economically vulnerable young people. They target economically vulnerable young people with fake job ads promising work, money, and benefits. But in reality, they sign up for military contracts. Yeah, all these contracts, they sign for military contracts. They are being lured into these fake jobs using the fake job ads promising work, money, and benefits. And some are even given Russian passport, for free. Everything you get for free, visa free, Russian passports you get. And once you have gotten their passports, know that you belong to them. You are their property. Recruitment isn't always transparent. Often it involves deceptive tactics. Report says recruiters use promises of jobs, training, high pay, visas, or residency. That is according to the story. Contracts written in Russian that recruits don't understand. So you sign a contract written in a language that you don't understand. And this is how this thing is being done. When you are in your country, you sign a contract in a language that you understand. But once you get there, you sign another contract in a language that actually you do not understand. Now, this is what is happening there. You sign a language, a contract in a language that you are not understanding, you know. So it is through deceptive means that we get ourselves, or people or folks get themselves into this into the hands of these liars in the name of, you know, job and other stuff. So it is important that we get to do things right. It is very much important we get to do things right and be very much careful and keen when signing all these contracts. You'll never know, you know, you'll never know what is where you are going to find yourself. So always is important to peruse the papers and all that you have before you get into that. Now the hardest part is that you are already there. You are given a contract written in Russian. You don't understand. You don't know what is happening. This your kid is not aware of anything. He's just signing, thinking that it is the same contract that he or she signed while is in his or her country. And this video is not for Kenyans, but it is for people around the world, because this thing is affecting around the world. Going with the reports and the research that I've done, I see that it is affecting many countries, not only Kenya. You see, not only Kenya, but it affects many countries. I've listened to some news outlets like Al Jazeera, BBC, and all that, CNN and others, and realized that this thing is not only an African problem or Kenyan problem. Yeah, I've heard the testimonies of folks who are in this situation, you know, in the situation, and they are really crying for their parents to go and get them there, but there's no means of these parents reaching them. Yeah, no means of these parents reaching them, and very bad and traumatizing testimony is if you listen to it, guys. So governments in Africa are confirming also this matter, and they are investigating these cases. So I'm just making this an awareness to everybody, Kenya's Foreign Affairs Ministry says over 200 Kenyans may be fighting for Russia after being misled by recruitment networks. Over 200 Kenyans, as we are speaking, may be fighting for Russia after being misled by recruitment networks. Right now, as we are speaking now, you know, and and Botswana is also probing the same case of youths lured into military roles abroad. South Africa is investigating how some of its citizens ended up fighting or recruited under false pretenses. You see, even South Africa is that, Botswana, Kenya is in it. Now, this part of a larger global trend or of explorative foreign recruitment. Similar tactics have been reported with Bangladeshi, Indian, Iraqi, and other nationals being misled into military roles or dangerous deployments. So it is a global thing. The only thing we can do is just to be very much careful with these job offers. We have to be very much careful with these job offers which people are being offered outside there. You have to be keen when doing it. Not all countries really. Some countries are okay, but specifically war-inflicted zone countries are the ones who are luring others to go and fight for them, and it is a very bad stuff. So important reality check. important reality check. Not the same as majority from Africa. Not the same as majority from Africa. The majority of Africans are not being dragged into foreign militaries. Most Africans live normal civilian lives, yeah? And these recruitment trafficking cases, while serious, involve limited numbers in context of hundreds of or thousands, not a majority of the continent's population. Africa has well over 1 billion people. So uh, just a handful of people are finding themselves into this. Hence, it is important that we make each other aware of what is happening outside there, because you'll never know, guys. You might find yourself in the same place one day, one time. Hence, I'm making this to help somebody or to save someone uh, um, who might find himself or herself into this. No one will know. You'll never know. I'll never know. So we have to join our hands and try to help one another. These instead are specific to a certain conflict situation, and that is Russia, Ukraine, and are exceptional exploitative cases, not a widespread norm across all African migration. Media reports focus on some African youth, in particular a context being targeted due to poverty, and unemployment. Note that most Africans go abroad for military services. Those who are targeted are because of poverty and unemployment. Poverty and unemployment is what makes these people find themselves into that. Again, not all Africans who go there find themselves under the military services. Key points to understand. There are real verified cases where Africans have been recruited or tricked into military roles abroad. There are evidence, there are verified cases, especially tied to Russia's war in Ukraine. These cases involve deception, human trafficking, tactics, and exploitation, not legitimate voluntary military service. Yeah, they are done through deception, human trafficking tactics, and exploitation. And that is according to the Moscow Times. So they are not representative of most Africans. They involve relatively small numbers compared to Africa's total population. African governments and international bodies are investigating and warning citizens against such schemes. You know, citizens are really warned against such schemes. So I'm also taking this opportunity just to let you be aware of what is happening outside there. And helping the government or you who is seated there watching this program right now, you know, to make you aware of these things. Now, students and young learners have also been targeted. You find places like Togo have officially warned students that fraudulent scholarship or study abroad offers have been used to lure young people, including students, to Russia with the promises of education or jobs, only for them to end up diverted toward military roles or dangerous services. Yeah, these are the tactics that our brother Putin is doing. You know, Togo has warned students already to be careful, not to be carried out with the jobs, promises of education, and other stuffs in Russia. In some cases, students who are already studying abroad in Russia have been reported to end up joining foreign military, militia, or being pressured into combat roles after their legal status become precarious. You know, that is according to Wikipedia. Young people just out of school are particularly vulnerable. And as I said, this because of poverty. And that has exposed us to vulnerability. Most documented recruitment cases involve late teens and young adults. That is, e.g., 18 years to 21 years old, who may be seeking work, training, or education abroad and are therefore vulnerable to deceptive recruitment offers. You know, another example is Botswana. Talk about 19 and 20 years olds mistakenly recruited into fighting under the premise of military training abroad. Yeah, Botswana, young guys, 19 to 20 years, found themselves into fighting under the premise of military training abroad. This is different from active child soldier recruitment. There is a separate and very serious issue in parts of Africa where child soldiers, often under 18, are forcibly recruited by local armed groups or militias in conflict zones. In Central Sahel countries or DR Congo, but that is not the same as going abroad or for deceptive military recruitment. In the Russia-Ukraine case, most recruits documented by governments and media are adults and young adults. So Russia is only recruiting adults and young adults, not children, not primary, secondary school learners. So it is very important to know that. And that is why most vulnerable guys are those who are looking for jobs, not school-going guys. Though Togo want school-going learners, because they might be told, you know, come, there's a scholarship, you're going to learn, and blah, blah. Then they find themselves in the hands of the Russian and becoming men of war, women of war. So what is the reality? Some students and young graduates have been targeted with fake study or job offers. As I've said, it is not a widespread situation where school children across Africa are being taken away into military service abroad. The documented cases are limited, specific, and involve individuals who are often of legal working age. African governments are alerting students and youth, urging them to verify all overseas offers and avoid suspicious recruitment schemes. So it is always important to have to verify all these informations before you get yourself in wrong hands. Just try to verify them. Those who are in Kenya who are going for job interviews abroad, try to verify and know and be very much keen before you jot down or you sign in document. Be very much careful. You can consult further so that you get to know actually what is happening. Very, very much important. So we have been alerted, and the governments are alerting people. Always verify the legitimacy of scholarships. Verify the legitimacy of scholarships, jobs or training programs through official embassies or education ministries. Yeah, get to the education ministry, verify this. Embassies of the countries that we are talking about, or training, all these things like training programs, jobs, and all that. Never sign any contract or accept travel offers without clear written documentation and understanding every term. Any document that you don't understand its term, do not sign it, because it might lead you into the wrong place at the end of the day. So be very much careful. Consult with the trusted career or school counselors before making decisions about going abroad for opportunities that seem unusually lucrative. Very, very much important, guys. You do that. So always verify these stuffs before you find yourself doing whatever you are not supposed to be doing. Otherwise, you'll find yourself caught where at a very bad place. You'll find yourself caught there and doing such businesses with those guys. So guys, as I'm winding, it is important you know that this thing is happening outside there. It is happening outside there, and it is not just a word or something that is said. It is actually true. It is happening. It is true. It is happening. And take precaution. Be very careful with this stuff. Be very much careful. Be very much keen before you jot down any, before you do any, before you sign any document in the name of looking for a job. Otherwise, what do I say? Take precaution, share the video, and let it be known not only to you but also to your friends outside there about this matter. If you are watching, just hit that subscribing button so that we keep connecting. It is very much important we keep connecting and talking, you know, very, very much important. We keep talking on these matters. Hallelujah. Very much important to help one another, you know, not to help one another when things are already wrong, but to help one another at the moment, because we need to stand and support each other and make sure that we become our brothers' keepers, as we are always told, or as we are always directed and guided. Very much important. Yeah. Otherwise, asante sana for following up. Asante sana for following up. And share the video. Speak to other people about this. Let it be a topic in our society so that we be people who can help and stand with one another. When called, we can come upon, and when called upon, we can stand and we can stand and speak out our mind and say what is supposed to be said. You know, just say what is supposed to be said and say no to other things. Otherwise, it is all well. Thank you very much, and have a nice and lovely moment. Bye. Thank you. Okay. You can send the feedback. You can just send the feedback. You can send the feedback always, because your feedback is very much important. Yeah. Feedback is important, so you can send feedback. Thank you very much. Huh? Okay, that is it. Bye. Have a good night. See you soon.